All right, what's going on, Giants fans? Monday video reaction to the game. I know doing like an instant reaction would get more views and subscribers, but I like to wait till the day after. Let us do our podcast and then put out a reaction video. That way, it's clear, rational thinking and not totally emotions. Although the emotions are high. I mean, it feels good. How good does this feel? How good does this feel? I just put on Twitter like 0-5, 1-7 was so miserable, but I feel like we're just having so much more fun because of that, because we like realized how bad it was at one point in the season, and now it's like, hey, we're gonna win this division. It's not like there's confidence. It's like, oh, if this team does this, like, no, we beat the Seahawks, we should win this division. So let's talk about the game. And usually I'll start talking with the offensive points, but we got to start with the defense, man. And I'll start with a couple players that made stuff happen. Jabril Peppers, man. He's my favorite player on this defense. He is just a playmaker. Patrick Graham has put him in position to do what he does best. And what does he do best? Everything. Everything. Rush the passer. Play the run as a money backer. Play deep safety in a too high safety look. He's been doing it all. And then every single week, I think he has 10 pass deflections on the year. He had 2 yesterday, a tackle for a loss yesterday, a nice sack yesterday. I mean, he has just been a beast for this New York Giants team. He honestly should have another sack because one was taken away on a penalty earlier in the year. 2.5 on the season. He's just all over the field, playing everything. Like I said, we saw him play the deep safety role. We saw him blitz. We saw him play linebacker. We saw him do everything. And then the other guy, Leonard Williams, man, 2.5 sacks. 2.5 sacks. The coverage is helping, but honestly, that's team football right there. Leonard Williams last year, where it was close, he only had half a sack, it was close. Well, now with some good coverage, now he has 8.5 through 12 games. 8.5 sacks through 12 games. This is a guy who last year, all summer, the talking point was like, this guy, he just can't get there. He just can't get there. Well, this year he's getting there, man, and it's been fun to watch. He's been a total playmaker. I mean, he's the team leader in sack. He's gonna have man with more sacks than Marcus Golden had last year. He's gonna probably going to get double digits from the defensive tackle spot, which is crazy. So good on Leonard. And then Patrick Graham, man. Russell Wilson had the highest time to throw in the NFL yesterday at 3.38 seconds. The highest in the NFL. So it wasn't like they were just, rattling him. He had time to throw. And you saw it. He didn't know what he was looking at. He didn't know what he was looking at the entire game. He wanted to go deep. He wanted to take those chunk plays. He's just like, it's not there. And then eventually he would either check down or run, and it just wasn't there, man. And Patrick Graham, every single week, and this is why I say, like, hey, in Patrick Graham I trust, because every single week he comes up with something new or different, or plays to the offense, plays against the other team, instead of just being like, this is my scheme, this is what we do. We're a too high safety team. We're a cover 3 team. We're a blitzing in man coverage team. Like I said, going into this year, we thought Patrick Graham was going to be a heavy blitz press man guy. We don't do that at all. So Patrick Graham, man, I mean, he deserves so much credit. He might be my favorite coordinator in a long time. I was a big Kevin Gilbride fan. Spags I liked, but man, Patrick Graham he's been very refreshing to see. An innovator, someone who's creative, someone who's not afraid to take chances, someone who is not, like, he puts his players in the best position. Logan Ryan in this robber role is great. Jabril Peppers as a money backer, great. James Bradbury playing in like this off, like, cover 3 corner zone, which James Bradbury, he Metcalf had 5 catches for 80 yards, but like a 21 yarder was versus Yeadham, so he had like 4 for 69, I think. So not the best Bradbury game, but that, compared to last week when Metcalf had like 11 catches for 200 yards on Darius Slay, and then Mark Slayer, look at the stiff arm. It's like, dude, he gained 1 yard from it. Is it a stiff arm if you get tackled in the process? Blake Martinez, I hope he's healthy because he's important, man. He had another good game yesterday. 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss of pass deflection. He has to be having the time of his life with this defense. He has to be having the time of his life. Where in Green Bay, he played cleanup role. And it was so frustrating. I remember going through the San Francisco games when the Giants signed him, going through that film, and being like, what the hell is Green Bay doing? It's like, one, you guys don't have the defensive tackles up front to do this, but they were playing against the 49ers, who were running 2 tight ends, fullback looks, and they were playing Blake Martinez with a safety next to him. And it just wasn't working. But now, behind Dex, Dalvin, Leo. He's just able to play his game of his brand of football, and he's been a beast. So he hopefully he's healthy. Although Tate Crowder looked good on that last drive with Blake not out there. Nico Lalos, thank you, LeBron James. Nico Lalos, all he does is get at the ball. He's just, turnovers in 100% of his games. And then, think about the rookie contributions. Darnay Holmes, I was worried about Darnay Holmes going into this year. Not because I didn't like Darnay Holmes, just like, this guy's a 4th-round rookie. He's going to be playing in the nickel where in the college he played outside, although the nickel is his NFL role, and we've seen that. It's like, man, I could see this being bad. We don't worry about Darnay Holmes. He gets his first interception yesterday off a deflection. Oh, well, it was a deflection. Well, he caused a deflection last week for the interception, so it's just a little payback for Darnay Holmes. But think about the rookie contributions. He's a 4th-round pick. Shane Lemieux, a 5th-round pick, starting. O-line report. I'm looking forward to watching those Lemieux and Hernandez. I know Lemieux gave up a bad sack, which we'll talk about. Cam Brown, 6th-round pick, played 14% of the snaps. Carter Coughlin, 7th-round pick, 62%. Tay Crowder, 7th-rounder, 54%. Nico Lalos, undrafted, 36%. I'm a pretty positive guy when I look at the undrafted free agents. I never thought Nico Lalos was going to play on this team, let alone at the edge role. If you listen to our undrafted free agent episode, it's like his chance in the NFL will be moving down to like that 3-4 defensive end 5 technique role. He's been playing outside linebacker and he's been doing well. He's been playing in coverage. He didn't go in coverage at all at Dartmouth. Now let's talk about the offense. This O-line, man, has turned around. And I hate to bring it back to like just stupid storylines, but in reality, Joe Judge taking over that O-line for the Tampa game or putting his hands on it has changed this. And to people who say, "Oh, well, what could he have done? What could he be doing that Mark Schlereth wasn't, or Mark Colombo wasn't?" Well, they literally were fighting about it, so it had to be something. Okay, if they were arguing and they're fighting about it during practice, it had to be something. It wasn't over nothing. And the last 2 games, they've given up 2 sacks. One of those was on Dion Lewis. The other one was on Shane Lemieux. 0 against the Bengals, 2 yesterday, after giving up 31 through 10 games in the first 10 games of the season. In the last 4 games, they're averaging 162 yards per game on the ground. 162 yards, man, and that's not just Jones running. Really, the only game in there that was a lot of Jones ground yards was the Eagles game. In Washington, he didn't have a bunch of ground yards. Bengals, he didn't have any, and obviously today, or Seattle, he didn't have any. So that's good. Mark Schlereth, by the way, had a freaking meltdown. Like, I'm not really an announcer critic. Like, I think most of them do a pretty good job. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to know the teams like we know our team. But Mark Schlereth was horrible, and then he goes on a meltdown. If you want to have some laughs, just go to his Twitter. He quote tweeted me a few times. I was having fun. I can't lie. Usually I hate that type of Twitter, but I was having fun. I was indulging it a little bit. I mean, he was losing his mind. He had to be drunk or something. Now, let's talk about the negative. And you guys know I'm a positive person. We are winning. I think Jason Garrett's an issue, man. I do. I don't think Colt McCoy isn't good. He's a backup for a reason. But I think Colt McCoy being in more so expose some of this offense's issues more than like made the offensive issues. I mean, Shep, who has an over 80% catch rate, he had 1 catch on 6 targets yesterday. Now, you can't simplify it down to that. And that Evan Ingram interception, I think, it tells what this offense is, man. The route was 2 yards short. Why was it 2 yards short, though? Why was it 2 yards short? And it was a route where you can't get yak. You turn around. When you catch that ball, you are stopped. You are not moving. Why was it 2 yards short of the first down marker? Well, because teams know that's coming. You saw it. Go back and watch the play. The defender's waiting for that route, and he's sitting at the sticks. So you can't run into the defender. So Ingram turns around, short, 2 yards short. Even if he catches it, it's 4th down. But he doesn't catch it. The ball's a little bit inaccurate by Colt McCoy. The ball gets popped up. Well, because everything's in tight space. Well, guess what? When the ball gets popped up, there's a defender back there to intercept it. Darius Slayton, if you look on the other side, had press man coverage with no safety over the top. We have scored touchdowns on that. We have had big plays off of that. Darius Slayton has 1 catch the last 2 weeks. Now, granted, could have another 60 yards if he tracks that ball correctly against the Bengals. So not totally on. It's not. It's on him a little bit too. But Darius Slayton should be used more than that. The entire game they played him press man coverage with no safety at the top. They were daring us to throw a fade to Slayton, and we never did. I actually did like the final drives play calling with the passes wrinkled in. I actually thought that was some good play calling. But I just can't give Jason Garrett credit for the offensive line doing a great job blocking. I just can't. So I'm worried. I'm worried about Garrett. I'm worried about Garrett, the one guy that Judge didn't bring in that's still left on the roster. I am worried about him. I mean, think about if the Seahawks think about how you felt at halftime. Think about how you felt at halftime, and think about if the Seahawks score in that final drive. Which, if the Seahawks scored in that final drive, it's not a bad game by the Giants defense. You held the Seattle Seahawks to 19 points if they got a touchdown on that final drive. To 19 points. That is a win. That is a win. The Seahawks have the worst pass defense in the NFL. The worst. And how did we think about how you felt at halftime about this offense and Jason Garrett? And then think about how did they score they scored 3 times. They had 2 touchdowns and a field goal. The first touchdown, 77 yards on 3 runs, 0 passes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Gallman, 60-yard run. Morris pounds it in. The next score, turnover on downs at like the 50-yard line. You get 42 yards on 4 carries, and then the touchdown to to Alfred Morris from Colt McCoy. Awesome, running the ball really well. And then the field goal was an interception. They gained 3 yards, kick a field goal. I don't think that should be celebrated. The offensive line and the running back should be celebrated. Whoever's coaching the offensive line, Coach Googe, congratulations, you are a beast, should be celebrated. Burton Burns, the running back coach, should be celebrated. And I give him credit for the run schemes. They've gotten a lot better, although I do think Judge has had a hand in that because, I mean, we heard a big difference between what Garrett and Colombo were doing per Judge was literally the run schemes, and we've seen the run schemes be totally different than when they were the first half of the season. And I can't chalk that up to no preseason. I can't chalk up to the most bland run schemes I've seen to just no preseason. So I'm still worried there. I'm still worried there, man. And you guys know I'm a positive person, but I get a little worried. Anyways, man, it feels good to be in first place, stacking wins. Go buy the Stack of Wins t-shirt. Like the video, subscribe. Going to have the O-line report out tomorrow morning. Fun times in New York Giants land. We are in first place. It feels freaking good, man. It feels good. I feel so cocky. I've been listening to MIA, Paper Planes, all day today and yesterday. So appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. Let's go Big Blue.